Hello everybody, welcome to the Morning Metro. It is December 16th, 2017. For once, Gritron actually said the date right, actually. So yay.
Yes. Yay.
Yeah.
It is December 16th.
Yay, I did it right for once. But how are you, Gritron? How are things going today?
I'm doing well. Things are going great. How are you doing?
I'm alright. We had a slight technical issue. Our friend Cappy was going to join us, who actually just popped back in. Hi, Cappy.
Hello, Cappy.
He was going to join us for the Morning Metro, and at the time experienced some technical difficulties, who appears to be back, actually. So welcome back to the show, Cappy, as a guest.
Yeah.
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 Cappy, are you going to join us via video, or are you just going to do voice today, just since we're... Let's see if we can do some on-the-fly editing. But yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm just mainly just like tired, I suppose, I guess, for the most part. But that's not too bad. But yeah, I'm gonna see. Actually, I'm just gonna see. I'm sort of buying some time, actually, obviously, because Cappy's gonna see if he can get back in here. If not, we're not gonna worry about it too much. Yeah, no, it's been a good day and everything. Got lots of interesting topics to discuss as usual, and of course the class. All right, here he goes. He comes back into the room. Come on, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Hey, and no flickering. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You spoke too soon.
I just disabled your sound, so that's okay.
Sorry.
Thank you, Hunter, also for the channel host. We appreciate that at the Morning Metro. Yep. Okay. So I think we're actually finally good. I'm gonna go ahead and transition Cappy in here. Blah. There he is. Our man Cappy up in the corner here. Not because I don't like him, but because simply I just don't. Oh dear, he's running into connection issues again. All right. We're gonna have to just sort of like go with it for right now. We're so sorry to have all these issues this morning, guys. Yep, he just crashed again. I think he's about to drop off with his internet connection.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right, we're just gonna skip the video with you today, if that's all right, Cappy, because apparently we're having a little few too many issues with that.
Apparently. Apparently.
But we're going to go ahead and get the show going right along here. Gertron, please take the first article, if you would, while I get Cappy the link to the show notes.
So the first article comes from Fox News, which, as we know, this channel seems to use a lot of.
Unfortunately. A little bit.
I don't know about unfortunately, but okay, we'll continue on.
That's fine, it's fine.
China seeks the ultimate weapon of warfare. A research arm of the U.S. intelligence community just wrapped up a competition to see who could develop the best facial recognition technology. The challenge: identify as many passengers as possible walking on an aircraft boarding ramp. Of all the entries, it was Chinese startup company called the E2 Tech that walked away with $25,000 in prize money this month, the highest of the three cash rewards. Now, the reason why it is so important to have good face recognition technology is because if you want to be able to pick out one person in a crowd of 100, 1,000, or maybe even more than 1,000, you've got to have good technology. I mean, otherwise there could be that one bad guy in the mix.
That one person. Yeah.
Exactly. And the Chinese seem to know how to get their facial recognition going. Now, currently, China is no longer in a position of technological inferiority relative to the United States, but rather has become a true peer, otherwise known as competitor, that may have the capability to overtake the United States in the AI. That's artificial intelligence. That the report written by Elsa Kanya at the Center for New American Securities, the CNAS.
Interesting.
Although Pentagon policy currently calls for a human role in offensive actions carried out by machines, it is unclear whether the Chinese People Liberation Army would adopt such a policy, the report states. Now, further into this article, as we look into it, we find that right now we are still in the lead, but China isn't inferior to us anymore. They're competing with us, and they're stating that within the next 5 to 10 years or so, it's possible for China to be on the same realm as we are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, facial recognition technology as a whole does kind of disturb me to some degree, mainly because, it just means that I am easier to recognize by a face. Now, we do know that, like, facial technology can be spoofed, obviously. Someone has a photo, and I believe, I think it was Wire.com had covered this article very similar, or something to that effect, that facial technology was easily recognized and stuff. Oh dear, apparently, Cappy, apparently my, you're trying to buy some time for me.
Okay, so as far as the facial recognition goes and it being able to be spoofed, there are certain lower technologies as far as facial recognition that is more powerful. You have your low-end facial recognition technology and your high-end. Your low-end, yeah, a picture is going to be able to catch on, and it's going to be like, that's fine. Now, I had a facial recognition software that required that when they looked at you, you had to wink or you had to make some sort of facial move that it could detect. That way, if you are just using a picture, they're like, come on, you didn't move at all.
Yeah.
You're not getting in here. Now,
right.
A lot of the facial recognition software is usually, as Hunter states, is usually only used by trusted agencies for valid reasons.
Yes.
We're talking about major corporations that have special, secret, confidential research stuff going on, and also the military. I doubt we ever come across it like we go to McDonald's like, oh, we have to recognize your face before you can order food here.
Right,
Unless, of course, the entire America goes into some dictatorship or martial law or something crazy like that.
Cappy, as you're being a guest of the show here, I don't want to take time talking. What do you think of facial technology?
I think it's a good idea. There's multiple benefits for it. Like, for example, say you're a constant person from like ordering food and other things like that. They can register your face, and then they can say, okay, you like this, and we'll order this for you.
Yeah. I can sort of see that a little bit to some degree, but then also I feel like that we're at the age where there is so much collected about us as individuals that it's like we're basically recorded on a big data system, honestly.
That's true.
And I don't want to be constantly recorded on a data system that, like, now my face, my name, my bad enough Facebook has the information that it does, Twitter and the like. I think it's very frustrating that that's a constant issue for a constant thing that's we're collected all the time and stuff. While you gentlemen go ahead and fill space again, I have to quick take care of one thing, so you two can talk amongst yourselves. Excuse me, please.
Okay, so as far as facial,
Graceful.
busy today. We're having to do a lot of fillers for Grid today, but it's okay. At least we have Cappy here to help out there. So, Cappy,
I am
have you
so
ever
sorry.
actually ran into any facial recognition software that you actually had to use, or?
Yes, I actually use facial recognition software on my phone.
Okay.
So
it works.
I mean, I enjoy it. Like, it makes it a lot easier for me to unlock my phone just by simply looking at it. I enjoy facial recognition technology. I think it's interesting. I think it's a good way to be secured. And just like with any biometric system, compared to like passwords and other things like that, it's hard to get past it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, like, I don't know, it's just the idea. I mean, now what's more, now let me ask this question. What is more accurate, retina scans or facial recognition?
Facial recognition, because retinal scans can be spoofed, as it's seen in the Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus.
Ah, okay. Interesting. So yeah, interesting. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool now that it's cool, but the fact that the Chinese developed it is a little unnerving to some degree.
Now, understand, every country has their own facial recognition software. They're just stating that China's just seems to be better.
Oh yeah, I know it would be better.
China just happens to have a better facial recognition software than the Americas do, and other countries that weren't part of that competition.
Yeah, interesting though. Now the question is, okay, now that they've developed their technology, you know, what are they going to do with it up to this point? Like, are they going to just simply use it against us? Are they gonna, like, you know, because I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of, I'm curious to know what they're going to be using this, you know, new technology for and stuff. They're going to try to sell it or use in some horrible way, which.
Yeah. Well, I have a note on that, but first, Hunter asks, is this being used in every country in the world? Most countries, obviously your third world nations that have next to no technological background at all, they may not have it, but the facial recognition software, you can download it on the internet. There's software that's free for public use as facial recognition software. So it's being used everywhere that people want to use it and have the ability to get a hold of it. But as far as what they would use it for, most of that is usually used in surveillance and defense. Tracking a particular person down. I don't know if any of you have watched the new TV series out that's called Wisdom of the Crowd.
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Basically, it's about this guy who created a side company that uses normal people like you and me to track down criminals. They take pictures on their phone and say, "Hey, this criminal's here," and you can find him there. Or being detectives saying, "Oh yeah, I know where that signage comes from," or stuff like that.
Yeah,
it can be used for catching criminals, catching bad guys, and preventing huge losses, and then also like protecting banks and other companies and whatnot. So as far as an attack side, I don't see it really being used mainly for offensive. I see it more for defensive purposes.
Okay, interesting. Cappy, any more thoughts before we move on to the next article here?
I think Gertron summed it up pretty well.
Alrighty then. Alright, cool. We're gonna move on to our next article, which let's see. Okay, so I have to fix this. So apparently Wired does this thing. There's this little extra code on Wired's website where it goes /amp, and it actually like amps. It actually makes the images everything bigger. I discovered you actually have to erase it for it to actually like resize. It's so weird. It happens especially if you're got the link from Twitter. But apparently, U.S. fighter jets are getting the laser cannons they've always deserved.
Yeah.
The age of Star Wars.
Laser cannons equals awesome.
Right. Well, possibly depends. If you want to go ahead and take this, I think this was one of your articles, Gertron. If you want to go ahead and talk about this one, please go for it.
It's been just a few months since the Lockheed Martin gave the U.S. Army the most powerful laser weapon ever developed, a ground vehicle mounted system that can burn through tanks, knock mortars out of the sky. Now the U.S. Air Force wants its own toy. So Lockheed's engineers are back in the lab crafting the kind of weapon Poe Dameron could get down with. And if you don't know who Poe Dameron is, he's from Star Wars. He is. He's an X-Wing fighter pilot there. Yeah. They're making a laser blaster for a fighter jet to swat down incoming missiles.
Interesting.
Wow. Lasers on a fighter jet?
Sounds appropriate.
We're getting there. We're getting to
now. All we need is the Millennium
Star Wars.
Now all we need is an X-Wing and the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo.
This is true. Decades after science fiction writers and directors imagined worlds of killer beams flying back and forth, reality is catching up. This spring defense contractor, Raytheon, became the first to destroy a target with a laser fired from a helicopter at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. The Apache AH-64 shot a truck from more than a mile away while on the move and from a variety of altitudes. Raytheon is also building a laser-firing, drone-killing dune buggy.
Oh,
Dune
boy.
buggy with lasers on it. Wow.
Dune buggy. That sounds like Mad Max or something a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Terminator.
Oh, Terminator. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Boeing has its own anti-drone laser cannon as well. Now, these lasers will be able to distract, destroy missiles, tanks, and other aircraft if need be. This will also reduce the need for stealth planes, but will most likely not replace them in their entirety. So, wow.
Interesting.
Lasers on a fighter jet. That
Hey, look, laser beams.
Now, are these visible lasers or are these invisible? Because there is such a thing as is the ultraviolet spectrum. So my question is, are these ultraviolet beams or are these actual visible, like pew pew, like actual, beams here? What are we talking? Is my question.
Now, I've seen the lasers on the Humvees. Actually,
Yeah.
those might have been microwave-based lasers. You don't really see them. They just kind of do their job, and there you go.
Now, I can see this being a very interesting weapon of warfare because imagine a jet or whatever flying over, and the bad guys are like, they're getting ready to shoot it down, and then suddenly something what they're about to shoot explodes next to them. They're like, hello? I can see them looking up at the jet and then looking at their thing. They're like, what? They're shooting an invisible beam. It's so inconspicuous. It's perfect in a way.
No, Hunter did ask, will it be like a homing laser? Give me 1 second here, guys.
Will it be a homing laser, or when a missile is detected, it will lock and then fire? That's something that the military, I don't think, is going to let us know. But
of course.
I would imagine that would be some auto firing. I know that I know they have the capability to look at objects and automatically shoot at them, because I know on battleships they have, I think they're called buzz guns.
Okay.
That literally, they just automatically lock onto any target that's coming at them missile-wise and immediately tries to shoot it down. So I would imagine that the laser weapon would most likely have the same idea.
Maybe.
But
From the sounds of this article with the missile, it sounds like more of a remote detonation system, I would say.
Possibly.
maybe it's that's always a possibility. Now, the reason why this is going to be kind of not completely getting rid of the need for stealth planes, but it's going to be reducing the need of stealth planes, is because stealth planes are really expensive.
Indeed.
And they're invisible to radar, and they're very hard to get any missile lock-ons. And they use them for stealth bomb missions, and they're expensive. Could you imagine having F-16s or whatever carrying these anti-missile lasers on them? Then they can do the same job as the stealth plane at a lower cost.
Yeah, interesting. I also forgot to mention, we need to actually make sure we mention that we're talking to people in chat, so the people on SoundCloud know who we're talking to. But Hunter says in chat they would have it. Jets can go faster than 1,000 kilometers per hour, or kilometers per hour. Sorry, he's using metric instead of imperial. So it would be mandatory to have it.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt, but I'll be right back. I gotta take care of something real quick.
Alrighty. So anyway, yeah, so it'd be very interesting to see, lasers on fighter jets. what age do I live in?
Hey, okay. I have said this multiple times.
Yes.
Way back when, before the Wright brothers made their first aircraft, people thought that they were crazy, that would never happen.
Yeah.
And now we're doing that kind of thing all the time. That's just normal. And then people start saying, well, Star Trek's too much in the future. We'll never see that kind of stuff, or even Star Wars kind of stuff. But we're getting there.
Yeah.
No longer can somebody literally call somebody crazy just because they believe some science fiction technology may come into reality.
Yeah.
It's all possible.
Yeah, and I think it really, you know, it's kind of interesting. You look at cell phones, and they're basically the tricorders of today. You look at you know, fighter jets, and they have lasers, and it's becoming, you know, the technology of the day. And it's just it gets more and more interesting as we go along to see these advancements. Now, somebody somewhere is going to use this for evil, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Every technology has an evil.
Any type of technology will eventually be used for some sort of evil.
Now I'm waiting for the bad guys to come up with anti-laser defense systems or whatever. And they'll come up with like those bubble shields from Star Trek, maybe.
That would be awesome.
Or not, sorry, Star Wars, wrong reference. But yeah. So, wow. Cool. I wish there was a video to go with some of this, actually, but unfortunately there isn't a video actually to demonstrate this. But I guess maybe there wouldn't be.
Give me a second. I will send you a link.
Gertron always looking things up for us. Hunter says in chat it eventually would become normal, and it would maybe be a jammer that can jam it somehow. Yeah. Very interesting. Definitely. See if Gertron can come up with something here.
I gotta make sure I'm actually looking at one that's
legit.
Legit.
The actual thing, not something that's been modified in Photoshop.
Okay. Well, I have a 2-minute. Oh no, that testing laser fired. Okay, this might be okay. It's 2 minutes long. I'll link you to it.
Alrighty.
It looks interesting enough.
Alrighty. Where is this?
And then it's coming from YouTube.
Okay, copy the link. Alright, excuse me, guys.
I'll post that in chat as well.
Alright. Let's see what we got here as I scrub along. Wait for my feed to show up.
Laser weapons used
to
be the stuff of science fiction. Now they're closer to getting real.
This is a 2-minute video from YouTube.
The U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory told CNN it hopes to demonstrate a fighter jet laser as soon as 2020.
It really is a national tipping point where we see the technology evolving and maturing to the stage where it really can be used.
This year, the Air Force, the Pentagon research arm DARPA, and Lockheed Martin successfully tested a laser turret that would allow near supersonic planes to surround themselves with a 360-degree defensive laser shield. The Air Force lab has already built working lasers that can destroy aircraft from the ground.
Ooh.
Like this laser shootdown of an unmanned plane in 2009, which was a precision breakthrough. At sea, the U.S. Navy already has an operational laser weapon aboard the USS Ponce. But hitting moving targets from a fighter jet flying hundreds of miles an hour is a lot harder. A successful laser weapon can burn through strong materials remarkably fast with virtual silence. Pilots could use it to defend against enemy planes, threats from the ground, and incoming missiles. No need to reload because ammunition is electrical power, not bullets. To be effective, fighter jet lasers will have to be smaller and lighter than ground-based lasers. They'll have to be accurate despite the G-forces, vibrations, and speed that come with air combat. In addition to fighters, the commander of Air Force Special Operations says he wants defensive high-energy lasers aboard huge AC-130J Ghost Rider gunships by 2020. Experts say it'll be the beginning of a new era, as laser weapons are poised to exit science fiction and join missiles, guns, and bombs in the real world. Tom Patterson, CNN.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Wow. That's a little, that's crazy. I don't know what to say about that. Wow. Crazy.
Oh boy.
Maybe we won't have to pay for expensive sets for the movies anymore. Just just modify a fighter jet to look like an X-wing, right?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Indeed, yes. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next article now. Before we talk about this, okay, I have had numerous conversations about this. I have done my best to get as educated about this as I can. If I misunderstand something in these next 2 articles, please correct me in chat. That's okay. And anybody on SoundCloud, if you wish to comment about this, please, email us. Our email's excuse me, guys, still trying to get over my cold. Our email is, of course, themorningmacho@gmail.com if you want to discuss this particular article. But we're moving into the net neutrality discussion. So I would ask that Gertron and Cappy please speak carefully, that we, try to be understanding, because it is a very confusing subject, and I don't want to take anything out of context or go crazy with it. But we are discussing it. Net neutrality, vote, FCC repeals Obama-era internet rules. Now, right out of the gate, I'm going to quick say that net neutrality rules have been in place much longer than Obama. I've come across a couple articles from Wired that discuss that it's actually been a much longer rule that's been in place before that. But apparently Fox News decided to title it that way, although I think that's technically incorrect. I did not write show notes for this because I wanted to read it right out of the article because it was actually quite short. I'm going to go ahead and just try to go through this. The FCC voted Thursday to repeal Obama-era net neutrality rules and move the Republicans say would preserve free and open internet, but has triggered protests from consumer groups, internet companies, and Democratic lawmakers. The repeal passed on a 3-2 party line vote. It is time for the internet once again to be driven by engineers and entrepreneurs and consumers rather than lawyers, accountants, and bureaucrats. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai, who I don't agree with some of his rules, because he's actually, as I understand it, was part of Obama's cabinet of people in his presidency. Pai, a Republican, announced plans in November to eliminate the rules, calling for a light touch regulatory approach to the internet. A longtime opponent of the regulations, Pai has signaled plans to undo the rules since taking over chairman of the FCC this year. In a moment, indicative of the heated atmosphere surrounding the proposal. The FCC hearing room in Washington was briefly cleared Thursday just before the commissioners were set to vote on repealing the rules. Pai was delivering a prepared statement on the vote when he handed a note and stopped mid-sentence. On advance of security, we need to take a brief recess, Pai said. After the room was cleared, law enforcement officers with dogs were seen surveying the room. A few minutes later, commissioners and others were let back in and meeting resumed. Net neutrality regulations imposed utility-style regulations on internet service providers such as Comcast, AT&T, and the like, such as Verizon, to prevent them from favoring their own digital services over rivals, for instance, by blocking or slowing certain content. Pai argues that the net neutrality rules adopted during the Obama administration discouraged the internet service providers from making investments in their network to provide better and faster online access. So it goes on to say here, let's see how much further of this article do I have here, because it's quite a long. This was actually longer than I thought.
While you're looking into that, I did a quick research to see when this net neutrality actually started, and it was actually on February 26th of 2015. The FCC ruled in favor of net neutrality by reclassifying broadband as a common carrier under Title II of the Communication Act of 1934 and Section 706 of the Telecommunication Act of 1996. On April 13th of 2015, the FCC published the final rule on its new net neutrality regulations. So it was actually enacted while Obama was in office.
Okay. Now, to kind of get a little bit of another different look on this, I've also put up an article from Wired that was also somewhat similar. Let me take a little note here. I see Cappy posted a link I'm going to quick bring up here on the fly, which I don't normally like doing, but whatever. Oh, Not that big a deal. Let's see, net neutrality statistics. All right, I'm waiting for this page to load. Okay, what do we got here? Cappy, do you want to expand upon this this link you just sent me, since I am not familiar with it here, if you would?
Yeah. Just give me 1 second here to launch it in my Google Chrome real quick.
While we do that, Gertron, you want to start in on this? If you want to go ahead and start commenting about this.
Well, I'm gonna read the first section of this article that states, what is net neutrality?
Go for it.
Under net neutrality, all online content is delivered equally by internet services providers, ISPs. Rules implemented in 2015 mandate that such companies as Comcast and Verizon not to block, throttle, or prioritize certain content on the internet. They cannot slow speeds for high bandwidth services such as Netflix and YouTube, nor create fast lane for services willing to pay them. Proponents say net neutrality preserves a low barrier to entry innovators, ensuring a level playing field for the next Facebook. Critics argue that it is government overreach and that regulations deprive ISPs of their own resources for innovations.
Okay. Now, I had a discussion with one of my friends last night talking about this. I've discussed it with Cappy. I've discussed it with Gertron. Very interesting, actually, little fact and tidbit. Apparently, the lines that ISPs lay on Google, and I think he said Google in particular. I was talking to Moz King about this, actually. He said that technically speaking, the internet lines would actually be owned technically by the railroad, because fiber lines actually laid near railroad tracks, which is technically on railroad property. But as far as like who actually owns the internet, he was talking about like who would actually own the internet, which is technically the railroads, because they it's by their tracks obviously and stuff. So in a way it's kind of like it's almost like no one owns it, but then some people think they own it and they don't own it, things like that. I'm really against this idea of and unfortunately it's a bit of a clouded thing, because it's like some people are like, oh, they are going to block it like this, oh, they're not going to block it like this, stuff like that. I really don't know what to expect from this, honestly. I don't want to have sites blocked as an add-on service similar to what cable does with certain channels that you pay extra for, which is what this could potentially turn into, because a lot of people are apparently, a lot of people use Netflix over internet cable. Sorry, not internet cable, over cable and stuff. So I really don't want to see, like, the internet shouldn't be something we have to pay extra for just because somebody's bottom line bottom line has to be filled. Cappy, do you want to go ahead and talk, or Gertron, if you got something, and then Cappy, if you could go after him, if you wouldn't mind, please.
Okay, so since net neutrality started in 2015, I've had internet access, Cappy Man's had internet access, you had internet access before 2015. I didn't notice any differences. Honestly, I didn't even know net neutrality was a thing until they started saying they were going to get rid of it. I personally think the only reason people are complaining about it is, well, let's be honest, it's because it's currently Trump's presidency, and it was one of Obama's big deals, and they're just, anything they can attack, they will attack.
Understandable.
That's my thoughts. Now, Cappy Man, what are your thoughts on net neutrality, since me and Grid's been talking and you haven't had your moment?
I'm just processing everything you guys said. Now, going back to what Grid had to say about, like, Netflix, YouTube, and other websites like that are majority traffic. The link that I sent actually shows that.
I'm going to go ahead and, let me go ahead and transition to that. Go ahead.
If you scroll down to the big data users, it shows in a circle chart the amount of data each one uses. So, for example, if you notice, Netflix and YouTube are the majority bandwidth hogs, so to speak. And this is during peak hours as well. What peak hours are is the most concurrent users on the internet. Usually ISPs say it's like from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. usually. So the problem with this is that they're treating data equally.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned to Grid earlier last week, data is data, but the main issue is bandwidth speeds.
Okay.
Bandwidth speeds are pretty much the, quote, flow of the internet, unquote.
Okay.
Now, since Netflix and YouTube take up that much data, the other websites that are in the circle chart are going to load slower, download slower, and other things like that.
Okay.
That's the main issue with net neutrality, because what they're saying is data is bandwidth, but bandwidth isn't data. It's pretty much how fast you can download, how fast your internet speed is, how fast the web page loads, and other things like that. So, for example, my internet service provider, currently my speeds are 2.6 megabits per second, or sorry, megabytes per second.
Yeah.
That means web pages that only have 2 megabytes worth of data is going to download in a second. And load however fast your computer can process that information.
Right.
So the main issue with this is that consumers want all data to be treated equal, but they're thinking that data equals bandwidth.
Okay. Now, I can understand that. But what I'm trying to also worry about is that, or thinking of is that, like, certain things such as, you know, like, probably the biggest video services we have are Twitch, YouTube, Netflix, and Hulu, and Vimeo if you're still using that. Ha ha ha, laugh. The thing is that if they're there's some, and I'm sure there's probably some conspiracy theories about the idea of controlling free speech, which I don't want to try to dive into because I don't even know. I'm not gonna try to confirm, say something I'm not sure over. So I'm not.
I forgot my tinfoil hat.
Right. I think that every individual company should charge. And Cap, you and I had this discussion, and I'll try to fill Gertrude in on this. We were talking about the idea of companies creating sort of a microtransaction type of system, if you can imagine that, Gertrude, since you know what that is.
Yeah. Nobody likes that.
So I don't want to see certain services that we're used to getting access to suddenly slow down because, again, it's always comes down to profit, which is irritating. It's like living with a bunch of Ferengis from Star Trek, which, I mean, in my opinion, most Democrats are Ferengis, but that's just a joke for me. In my opinion, of course, don't anybody freak out if you see us on YouTube, please, and don't kill me. So I don't know. Like, I don't want to. You know, I don't think there's any reason that. I don't see why this is a problem, that, like, you know, that people, we have to, I'm trying to make a thought, and I'm really having trouble with this particular one for some reason. I'm actually kind of stumped, which is annoying.
Well, think about your thought. And
yeah.
I'm going to pull in there that.
Go ahead.
Net neutrality not being here, they're saying that websites are going to slow down. Well, big companies don't have to worry about it. I don't think Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Hulu, the big companies that have a lot of users visit their website daily are going to have to worry about it. I don't think they're going to have to worry about it at all. I do believe that the lower end websites, the websites that maybe get 1-2 visits a day, they may have issues. Now, as far as, like Grid, your particular website, I don't know how many views your website gets per day. I'm not going to stipulate on that, but it's probably nowhere near as popular as like Facebook.
Oh yeah, you're right.
People may go to your website and there may be a longer time for it to load, but I don't think it's going to be something like, oh, we're going to be waiting an hour here. Where it might take 2 seconds for Facebook to load, your website may now take 5 seconds to load.
Now,
okay. Who
right, go ahead.
really cares about that?
Right. Now the other issue is also too now it becomes a bit of a and I think this is the right word, contractual nightmare, because now the ISPs have to like negotiate with different websites to chart, you know, to like, I guess because of like the bandwidth access to the site. I don't know if that's a thing or not. I mean, would they have to like be like, oh, we're gonna make a deal with, you know, say like Netflix or Amazon's, you know, Prime or whatever, that they're like, you know, we're gonna, you know, sort of throttle the connection to your site, and you know, people have to pay extra, things like that. I mean, is that going to be, if you understand what I'm saying here, do you think that would be a thing? Any of you got any two of you got a thought on this?
I honestly don't think it'll be a thing, because one, internet service providers would have to do it on their end because of quality of service. Let me explain what quality of services was real quick.
Go ahead.
To the viewers. Pretty much what quality of service is a packet management system. Pretty much it limits the amount of packets that can be sent to like your router to your home, and other things like that. Pretty much that's what data throttling or fast lanes are.
Okay.
Think of it as like a hose, so to speak.
Okay.
And you have 3 hoses hooked up. The water flow from each of those hoses is your data.
Mm-hmm.
So hose 1 is going to like Netflix, YouTube, Twitter, or Netflix and YouTube, for example.
Okay.
They're taking up 100% of the resources. So hose 2, 3 are going to have issues getting to a certain website.
Okay.
Now, if you implement quality of service, which pulls back the power of the water flow or the data flow to where hose 2 and 3 can function, that's what it is.
Okay.
So what consumers want is like I said, a faster internet.
Okay.
Well, in order to have faster internet, you need to implement quality of service or packet management or fast lanes for this case.
Okay.
Because not all data is treated equal, because video takes much more bandwidth than like text-based websites and other things like that. So
now, if we look at, I mean, honestly, like I use 4G LTE, which has to access the internet. I get that service through T-Mobile. I don't really notice, like, if I get now I notice when I'm up in like the, you know, the mountain areas or whatever, or if I'm, you know, just getting out a signal. I mean, obviously it's going to slow down because that's a quality of service in and of itself. From tower site to tower site, and even during like peak hours, like my download for my ISP is so like decent that I don't even notice peak hours, honestly, which is very fortunate. But I really don't think that this should be like that. This needs to be a thing of sorts that we have to actually think about, you know, peak hours and speed and things like that. Anybody in the chat that wants to pipe up and talk about this, please do at any point in time. All right, see you, Castle. Thank you for coming by and saying hello. Have fun. Have fun your vacation. Have a good talk show. Yeah, thanks, man. You too.
Thank you, Castle.
I don't know. I don't think that you know, and it sounded like a lot of other tech giant companies were very much against against this ruling, which is understandable. Is this particular what they're doing, is this really good for the economy as a whole, or is it going to fracturing the internet and or you know, websites and stuff? Are, you know, because I'm thinking about, like, okay, smaller businesses, you know, like small businesses that need the internet to get their information out there. I'm thinking about, like, you know, content creators. I mean, there's just a lot of there's a lot to consider on this, and I don't know. I can't believe this has become, like, I mean, we talked about it before a while ago, and yes, Gertrude, I'm sure you're right. I mean, in 2015, I didn't even know what net neutrality was either, honestly. And honestly, back then, all I had was just I think I was with Verizon at the time, 2 years ago. No, was I with? No. I don't remember who I was with, because I've been on Twitch for about 4 years now. So I don't remember exactly who I was with. I think I want to say it was maybe with Verizon 2 years ago, give or take. But now Verizon DSL, oh yeah, that's crap. Absolutely. I wouldn't recommend using it. But even then, I never noticed, you know, unless, I don't know, maybe Verizon was doing throttling too. I don't know. They never seemed to give us a straight answer about much of anything. I don't know. Does this really have to be a thing? Do we really have to? Is it really that dang important that we repeal this rule altogether? Like, why has this been so blown up all over the internet lately? I don't get this.
I think personally, again, the reason why people are blowing this up so much is partially because of the terminology, net neutrality. Neutrality, take it down to its base word, neutral. Something that is neutral means it's neither bad nor good. So net neutrality would be making the net, the bandwidth speeds and whatnot, neither bad nor good for each company. Everything's neutral, even. Socialism.
Ah.
And when you say, oh, we're getting rid of net neutrality, that sounds bad, because then either you're going to be leaning towards the, oh, everything's going to be great now, or everything's going to be bad now. And people automatically assume that because it was called net neutrality and that we're getting rid of net neutrality, that immediately it's going to the bad side. So, hey, everybody get on the bandwagon and start shouting it down.
Okay.
So I think terminology has to play there. And also, I will throw this in again, it's also happening during Trump's presidency, which anything that is even minorly has even a possibility of being bad while Trump is president, they're going to attack and blow up like crazy.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Cappy. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, I just had
okay. Do you have anything to add on to what Gertrude just spoke?
I'm going to go to the problem with net neutrality real quick. The problem that I have with net neutrality is it being regulated as a Title II utility.
Okay.
That means it's on the same level as sewage, electricity, and heat. And
okay.
So pretty much it's basically saying it's essential to live.
Okay.
Now, I somewhat disagree with that. I somewhat agree with it. I don't think you need to live with. I don't think the internet or internet connection is a necessity anymore. Main reason why is that you can easily just take a drive down to the library and fill out applications there, listen to the news, listen to podcasts, and other things like that. So it's kind of weird, so to speak. That's the only issue I have with net neutrality is that it's a Title II utility. Okay. And I personally believe that anything that the government touches turns to crap.
Generally.
generally,
yeah.
the only thing the government is good for is trades, border security, and also enforcing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only things that I think the government is good for.
Okay, understandable.
And so I think the reason why I like this move is because I'm for a smaller government, and I think it's a good idea to get the FCC out of the internet and put it into the hands of the FTC, which the FTC has more power over than the FCC, because they're just a regulatory body, meaning that they can only enforce if rules are violated. Whereas FTC pretty much says, no, you gotta follow this to a T, so to speak.
Yeah. Now, Castlemania says in chat that he does not believe that this will be an issue for net neutrality, and I think that is a possibility. I don't think that the internet is the same thing as it shouldn't be a utility. It's not a utility. It's something. I mean, I don't know how you could really.
Commodity.
Yeah, it's more of that. Honestly, it's more like, I mean, honestly speaking, you don't really need the internet. But I think that at the same, like, I don't know, this is just kind of like crazy. This has been, I don't know. I don't see the internet really should be marked as a title to a utility or anything like that. Because it's a service. It's companies providing a service. So we'll really have to we will have to see. And I'm sure this will be in the news for a while, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of tech companies that will try to speak for the consumer and all this kind of stuff and everything. I know that Twitter has been marking it as, like they've been doing the hashtag net neutrality with like a little loading icon, and I think they've been trying to make it sound like it's blocking free speech and things like that. I'm not gonna try to even bother diving into that scenario because it's just too much to even get into that. I feel like maybe we're talking about this to death. I don't know. But it's a thing. It's kind of the way it is. How it turns out is how it turns out. If people don't like it, I mean, and honestly, like, as far as because the FCC is supposed to only be for radio transmission devices, as I recall, like ham radio, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. So I don't understand exactly, is the FCC even supposed to be in charge of the internet? Should that really be their domain, or should it really just be up to, are we sort of saying that, like, the control of the internet should be up to the individual ISPs, or thoughts on this, guys?
I think it should be up to individual ISPs. Main reason why is that, say, for example, Comcast, which isn't true because they've already stated that they're not going to screw over the consumers, so to speak. I think if the market regulates it, it's going to be a much better idea than the government controlling it.
More power to the people.
Yeah, I mean, precisely that's the issue that I'm having, is that that's the other issue I'm having, is that it takes the control out of the people, like, to talk with their wallet, so to speak.
And think about it like this. When net neutrality was in play, you just picked an internet company and you can't change anything about it because they have to follow the regulations. So you're limited to either you pick this company or this company.
Yeah.
And they both have the same rules. They just might have different speed services. I mean, like, if you get a satellite-based internet company, they're not going to be able to provide you as much speed as a cable-based internet company. But allowing the people to decide, who they actually want, because sometimes in one area there would be two cable companies in the same area offering the same internet service, the same speeds, I should say, and maybe one says, hey, these websites, we're going to slow them down, and this other one says, yeah, we don't care, we're going to have them all the same anyways. More business is going to go into the one that's more free with their bandwidth, while the other one who's more strict, people aren't going to be messing with them as much, and then those people are going to be like, hey, well, we want some people too, so hey, let's loosen up our reins a little bit. I mean, it's just how gas companies work as well. When you're driving down the street, you see a whole bunch of different gas companies, BP,
Exxon,
Shell, all those different ones, and you see their prices.
Mm-hmm.
Some prices are lower than others, but what you don't see, if you actually sat there for a while and just watched their prices, when you see one company's price go down, the other gas company that may be a few blocks away will say, hey, we want our business too, so they're going to lower their gas prices because they want the business.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those type of things now, rather than the government saying, well, everybody has to be neutral. There's no competition. Nobody really has to work hard at it. Now people actually have to listen to the consumers. I'm sorry, I went on a long rant there.
No, that's perfectly fine. No, that's okay. I'm actually gonna, man, I don't know how much more we could really, because I'm still, like, I don't really have anything. I sort of feel like I've sort of said what I feel about it. I don't want the internet to turn into a microtransaction. I don't want it to be an excuse to control freedom of speech. I just want the internet to just work. Okay, as long as, I just want to be able to access everything at the exact same speed that I've always been able to access it to. I don't want anybody that has lesser speed to not be able to access the internet, because that would be wrong, and that's cut off people's ability to actually, especially if you're a home business owner, an entrepreneur, stay-at-home person, whatever, content creator especially. I don't want the internet to get to the point where it's like not possible for people to do what they need to do. That's really kind of all I care about up to this point. And now, granted, and the government could honestly just come and just spy on. They already spy on us as it is. It's not like this net neutrality. It's not like the net neutrality is going to control it. And even with net neutrality, if we had it, the government could still do it anyway, because it's the government. It's what they do. Again, my opinion. Nobody on YouTube freak out, please. Thank you. So yeah, I don't know. We've been spending we're actually almost going into overtime with the show here. So let's just I guess we'll just let this sort of sit at the moment. If we have to, we'll revisit it later in the show, and Cappy, you're welcome to join us for that if you wish. But we're going to head and I think we're going to sort of drop this subject for right now. Thank you guys both for your view and stuff. If you guys have anything more to add in chat, while we're talking about something else, that's fine. What we could, temporarily revisit it. If not, that's okay too. Interesting. We'll have to see. And then once it gets deployed or changed, whatever, we'll see where we stand with it, I think, is the best bet. Moving on to the next article. Apple is ready to ditch the Mac, apparently. Now, I skimmed this brief last night.
Wait, what?
Are you still in the show notes doc, Cappy? The link should be there under the source section. Gertron, you should already have this article open as well.
Yeah. I have it open.
All right. Now, I haven't seen this ad that they're talking about. I tried to scrub to the important part here. According to FoxNews.com, Apple mentions that the Mac less and less at its big event, that the company knows that the machine is a drain on resources that distracts from its new core business, iOS, and its mobile devices. I know that Mac users do not want to see this reality, but Mac is not a moneymaker. When you go into Apple Store, you see iPhone watches front and center, then iPads, then the Mac. Let me go ahead and actually get there we go, get this back up here. I'm trying to find... Gertron, could you take over this for a minute while I am temporarily indisposed? Thank you.
Okay, so according to FoxNews.com, Apple mentions the Mac is less and less at its big events. The company knows the machine is... Oh, you already read all that.
I already read all that. I was just...
Okay, see, this is what happens.
So yeah, and actually,
Okay, so I'm going to read this part here.
Go
Apple
right ahead.
is a master of radical pivots. It killed the floppy drive. Nobody uses the floppy drive anymore.
Well,
no,
wait.
Okay, the U.S. government does.
Yep.
I take it
Thank
back.
you.
The U.S. government still has not come up to the new age.
Thank you.
They've killed the CD drive and the headphone jack in iPhones, which I still think that killing the headphone jack in iPhones is a good idea.
Okay, now I like to quick mention. I really need to poke at this. I'm going to try to I can't think what the word is now. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. I'm going to try to spoof. I know that's the right word. Johnny Ive. Getting rid of the headphone jack was a bold move for Apple. We believed it was no longer necessary. People still use headphones, you derp.
Exactly.
Like, okay, to prove my point, I have my Astro A40s right here. Notice it has a cable. People still use headphones. Hello.
Cable,
that was not bold.
right
It wasn't bold. It was just a marketing ploy. Please continue.
Okay. While Macintosh systems went from Motorola 68,000 to the PowerPC chip to the Intel x86 line of chips, a very memorable pivot came when the company dropped the Apple II line of machines with an event called Apple II Forever.
Mm-hmm.
While it extolled the venerable machine with a fancy new model, it marked the end of the system.
Now I can actually, as far as Apple dropping the Mac, or well, not dropping it, but not selling a lot of them, I can actually understand. I can see this because there hasn't been any good refreshes. Now, of course, Apple pushes out refreshes, which to me is completely stupid. You're just rehashing the same dang product over and over again. Mm-hmm. But they keep refreshing the product every time they come up with an event and stuff. When they're like, oh, here's our, what is it called, the WWDC or something, I think is what it's called, where they have their Worldwide Developers Conference, and they talk about
it's called.
That was, sorry, what? That is
Worldwide Developers.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So, and they haven't been talking about a lot of Macs, and we don't see a lot of Mac products being refreshed or pushed out and stuff. So like, do you think it's really actually possible that Apple will be like, we were the first to drop laptops because we believe everybody's going to mobile devices, things like this whole rhetoric of is Apple really being this bold, or is it just a marketing ploy? Guys, but take it away. What do you think?
I think Apple is being bold in this move. I also think it's boldly stupid as well.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, as it is, like, comparatively speaking, laptops, I mean, there are companies that are producing, much better equipment than Apple is. You look at Dell, you look at like Razer, you look at HP, all of them. They're producing actual good laptops. Apple keeps refreshing and adding minor upgrades to their product line, but it's not anything that could really seriously compete. And not only that, you're paying $1,000, $2,000 for a name.
Yeah,
and
because you could find the same laptop with the same amount of power for almost a third of the price.
Indeed. Yeah.
Indeed.
So,
look at the Lenovo 910 and 900 series.
You okay?
Hey, that's exactly how we feel about it.
Right. So I don't see how this is. Apple's got a lot of weird ego things for some reason I've noticed with their.
I think they're trying to destroy their own company. I think that's what they're actually trying to do. They're seeing how low they can get before the company actually goes boom, we're done.
The company has been the same since Steve Jobs, rest in peace, has been gone, honestly. Apple's just really not, because Steve Jobs was Apple, is what a lot of people have said. And Apple just hasn't really produced anything that's just like, relatively, I guess, innovative, really, since he's been, gone and everything. And it's just kind of frustrating to just feel like that, Apple really isn't really, isn't like producing anything that's actually like worth noting and stuff.
I will be right back.
All right, good thing Cappy's here. Cappy, is Apple still relevant, honestly, as a company, considering everybody else that's producing products?
At this point, I don't think they are, because Android is really stepping up their game as of late. Look at Samsung S8 Plus, the S8, S8 Plus, Note 8, with the curved display. Look at Razer, for example, that just entered in the market.
The Razer phone, which I'm ready to see a review from Linus Tech Tips over.
They are honestly irrelevant because they're not pushing new technology in. I honestly think they're trying to play catch up right now. Because the iPhone X just introduced facial recognition, which Android has for years. Fingerprint, a more accurate fingerprint reader, and a high definition 4K camera. Android has had that for 2 years now.
I actually have a funny, if I still have it on my phone, I might actually read this off on my phone as a joke. I think I saw a screenshot that talked about the iPhone X.
I know which one you're talking about.
It was one about like Apple's Android's had it for years type of thing, and I don't think I've got it on my phone, unfortunately. I did. I texted to somebody. But I mean, like, people, and not only that, like, honestly, Android is actually more cost effective, I think, than iPhone is. I mean, I've had my Note 4 for quite some time, and here it is. I found the photo, actually. I'll read it off in a moment here, just for the sake of the SoundCloud users and stuff.
And I'm back.
Hey. So we're trying to bring it to speed really quick. We're talking about whether or not iPhone is still relevant in the age of Android.
Nope, it's not.
I brought up a small chart here that talks about, this is from 2007 to 2016. That was talking about
Here, the link.
Here, let me go ahead and drop this for you both. Talking about sales of iOS versus Android. And from what I understand from this chart here, it seems that Android sales are actually significantly higher. Units sold actually seems to be much higher than iPhone is. So really, Apple is really not doing anything to really like keep themselves up. That I'm wondering if someone would ever buy out Apple. That would ever be a thing.
I highly doubt it.
In my opinion, the reason why Android sales are so much higher than iPhone sales or iOS Apple sales is because iPhones cost so much to repair and to buy.
And they're so proprietary.
While Android phones, they're not just limited to your Samsungs and your LGs. There are several hundreds of models, different companies that use Android iOS with a different brand name of phone. While Apple's iOS is set specifically for Apple phones. You're not going to see an Android phone with Apple iOS on it unless somebody hacked into the phone and changed it. So, but on Android phones, you'll see the same Android version or Android type on every Android phone. I mean, you have different Android versions. I mean, you have your Marshmallow version and Your KitKat version.
And Nougat and all
but
the other
thing
great
is,
clever
they're
noises.
all still Android.
Yeah. And Android's been, I mean, Android is sourced by Google, as I recall. And, you know, of course, and the really cool part is that Android is on so many different companies' platforms. You know, you have Samsung's, you have, a couple of Samsung's only the other competitor. I'm drawing like, Razer, a couple other company, LG. Yeah. I mean, so.
I have a smartphone. I like it.
Sony has, although Sony doesn't make that great phones, honestly. The Z1S,
Motorola.
yeah, the Z1S my dad had was garbage. In all honesty, the interface was terrible. Of course, Sony doesn't make good things anyway. But you know, I don't think that Apple's really doing themselves. I don't think that, if anything, what they end up doing is they're shrinking their product line. Apple is about profit, and they're now shrinking their product line more and more and more to the point where they're going to have such a small product line, they're going to end up, they could theoretically lose their niche in the market. So I don't...
got his haircut.
Hey, Crab King
States.
In the chat. But anyway, I don't think that they're really going to be able to stay on top much, you know, that much longer if they keep cutting their product line down. And, you know, and they'll cut their product line, but then they'll sell all these little extra dongles for your phones and stuff like that. What is Apple's marketing ploy? Like, what is this? What?
They're just doing a shotgun effect.
Are they like smoking something?
Shooting, and they're hoping something catches. And if one of those bullets didn't hit on the laptops, they were like, nope, we're gonna scratch that. They're gonna replace it with something else. I betcha they come out with some device that looks just like a laptop, but they're gonna call it something different. That's not a laptop. Well, it certainly looks like a laptop. Unless
they go back to that one product we talked about in one of our previous episodes where it was a phone that docked into a laptop design. That's the only other way that I could think of it, you know, happening.
Android did that before.
But it's from Apple. It's innovative. It's groundbreaking. We're being bold.
But wait, Android just did that. So how
Got
is
him.
Innovative?
Got him.
we added the Apple symbol. That's why it's innovative.
It was bold. We put the Apple symbol right on this exact center. The exact center.
Samsung can already do it already.
But we did it first. We did it first. We're Apple.
Well, of course you did it first. You put the Apple symbol on there. We don't want that garbage on our devices.
But it's Apple. I mean, what more do you want? Yeah, so...
Apples get rotten, and this apple is rotten to the core.
Oh, shots fired.
Time for the compost pile.
Oh! Ouch. Yeah. Oh, ow. Yeah, wow.
It can fertilize Android's development.
Okay, Crab King in chat says, I use Apple.
Feel bad for you.
I love you, Crab King, but...
Okay, I've got to point this out. We're talking about apples. Has anybody ever heard of crab apples?
Crab apples? No.
They're legit. Go ahead, do a quick Google image, and you'll see they're big and green.
Oh gosh, what's your point? I want to know. Yeah, I think I got it.
I think Crab King gets this.
Yeah, crab apples. I see it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I love you, Crab King. No offense. They're in my garden. Oh. Wow, Crab King. No offense to you, man. You're a good mod. Thank you for being here, dude.
Yes, you are.
That is true.
We're just poking fun at Apple over here.
Just a little bit. So, and another innovative, not so innovative things. YouTube wants to introduce a new music service. Okay. No, hold on. So let me go back to the desk here. Hold on a minute. Okay. YouTube, bud, I hate to tell you, Spotify and Pandora did it first. Actually, no, before them. It was actually, wasn't it? What was that one? Yeah, Napster. Napster did it first. So apparently YouTube wants to launch a new music service in March, report says. Again, coming from foxnews.com. Okay, I'm going to shred this in a minute here. According to Bloomberg, the new service was referred yeah, come on. internationally as remix, as it is reaction to the ongoing success of existing services such as Spotify and Apple, or Apple's music offering. Of course, running a music subscription service requires a lot of music to be made available. YouTube is thought to already have Warner Music Group signed up, and talks are underway with Sony Music Entertainment and Universal Music Group. Okay, yes, of course, because look at the stupid, oh my gosh, the stupid copyright. Okay, this is going to cause so much pain for content creators now. Because they're launching this music service. It's bad enough that people like me, we put music on in our videos, we get copyright strikes for Warner Brother Music Group is vicious, and so Sony. I'm sorry, like, and that's not an opinion, that's a fact. So why is YouTube deciding there's something they're just now gonna do?
Well, mostly probably because there are thousands upon thousands of YouTube videos out there that is purely music. And they're thinking, hey,
the
we're
Vivo
gonna try
stuff.
And take that. But here's the thing. I'm not going to use it. I'm still going to look at the YouTube video that already has music in it that I like. I mean, you can find almost every song ever created. Now, that's been created since the internet was born. You're going to find it available on YouTube. And even a lot of the music that came out ages before, if they've ever been recorded in any way on any type of device at all, you may find them on YouTube as well. So I don't think YouTube music is going to be that big, unless they say, if you get a subscription with us, you can use any of the music found in here, and you're not going to be breaking any copyright laws. That might be beneficial.
I don't think that YouTube's going to do that. I think YouTube, and I'm sorry, I am on YouTube, and I've done this stuff. I've had, in fact, actually, I needed to bring up something regarding my YouTube channel. The reason why we were going to launch the recording of the Game Awards, I got over 7 copyright strikes on that video, and it hadn't even been released publicly to my channel. I actually had to take it down over the weekend because it was a scheduled video, but I had to take it down. And yes, I monetize my videos because I'm trying to make some side money off being a content creator, although I'm getting a lot more off of Twitch, in all honesty. And I think Twitch is probably going to end up being more of my focus up to this point in time.
Now, does Twitch have copyright rules?
They do, but they are not as vicious as YouTube is.
Okay, so like I could play YouTube videos inside my Twitch channel, and
it's going to
don't monetize it to YouTube. I should be fine.
While we're on the subject, continue on with your thoughts, Grid.
What Twitch does do is that they do mute your video on demand, or VOD for short. They do mute that. They'll mute sections of it if it has copyrighted music. And I have had a couple VODs muted, but I've never gotten into trouble for it like I do on YouTube. And I think that YouTube will actually, what will end up happening is they'll make deals with Warner Music Group and Sony and Universal Music Group, and people will start uploading. People upload videos only to find their video got taken down or hidden or whatever, and they'll be getting copyright strikes, and there'll be lawyers after them and stuff, because YouTube will be like, well, because of YouTube Music, you're now violating the site and all that jazz. So YouTube's just going to get a lot worse, I think, up to this point with this. Cappy, thoughts, please. Go ahead.
So did you guys hear about the guy who actually streamed like a whole entire UFC fight?
No.
But was actually pretending to play like as if it were the game.
Oh, really? No, I didn't hear about that.
It happened like a few weeks ago. It was so hilarious.
Wow.
Did he get away with it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well then, that's how you handle your music videos. If you ever play a music video, you'll have you in the background playing a guitar with a mic in front of you, and just let them think that you're the one doing it.
Until he actually came out, and Twitch was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no." He literally said, "Yeah, that's actually not a game. It's actually the actual pay-per-view."
Now, I don't know. I think that YouTube is just like it's getting harder and harder to make your way on YouTube up to this point, without like getting into, you know, trouble and stuff. But I think it's interesting. I think they're one of the few platforms that actually really freak out about copyright issues and stuff. You know, like I said on Twitch, like it's not really. I mean, even now, technically speaking, affiliates really shouldn't be playing copyrighted music and stuff. But I mean, I still say, you know, if somebody asks where the source is coming from, I can give you the source. Just be like, you know, look, this is where I got it from. You know, and I will still give credit. I'm not claiming. See, the problem is there is no allowance for on YouTube where you can just say, I'm not claiming this part of my video as mine. I'm claiming the actual video itself as mine. And there is no. And when I went to actually go to try to dispute the video. In fact, actually, one of the videos got marked as supposedly like I was watching, like something came from the, what was it, WWE, like I think it's like World Wrestling, isn't that like World Wrestling something or other, I think, Cappy?
World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah, and they tried, they actually mismarked the video as it being from that. I'm not joking. It was a game. They were showing a game from Gamescom, right? And then they were like, "Oh, this is World Wrestling Entertainment." And I'm like, "No, it's not."
Everybody wanted a piece of the action on copyright laws on you.
Oh, it was ridiculous. I actually just highlighted. If you guys want to see the actual broadcast, it is on my Twitch page. You can go there, go to my past broadcast, or actually it's under highlighted. Unfortunately, it's in two sections because something fluked on my end. Not sure what exactly. But it's on my Twitch page, and for the SoundCloud users, go to twitch.tv/Grid21 to go watch that. But this is gonna this is gonna make YouTube worse. And you know, even sometimes even stuff that's marked as copyright free, I wouldn't be surprised if some of it gets mismarked because the algorithm is so bad on YouTube. It's ridiculous. Like for something to get, and what I just said about the World Wrestling Entertainment, that's an example of how inaccurate it is. They have to have a human go back and check it. And there's no allowance. I really, really wish YouTube had an option where you can say, I am not claiming the music as mine, I'm claiming the video, the actual video as mine. But is there an option for it? No. It drives me nuts. It's just, ugh. I'm sorry, I'm like ranting at this point. I'm not helping. I'm frustrated, but yeah, no. So YouTube Music, you're late to the game once again, YouTube, and like so many other companies. Apple, you are not innovating. I think some of these companies are just scraping the bottom of the barrel to just get a profit margin up to this point.
Google seems to be the only company that seems to be rising. Just saying.
I mean, there's other companies beside them that are doing it, but no, I think YouTube and Apple, I'm just going to say it here on the Morning Metro, in my opinion, are becoming dated. Very, very dated. And I won't be, and the unfortunate thing is YouTube is owned by Google, which is kind of ironic considering what you just said. Kind of weird, you know, what you just said, Gertron, that Google's being innovative and they come up with this for YouTube. But, you know, and on top of that, YouTube is becoming more and more of a paid platform because they've got their YouTube TV. They're going to make you pay a subscription probably for the YouTube Music. They've got the movies. You know, I think YouTube is almost trying, it feels like they're trying to mimic Netflix plus music and all that kind of stuff. They're trying to mimic every other company as like one thing. Do they really have a chance of competing with things like Spotify and Netflix and all the other jazz?
Probably not.
Gappy, what do you think?
To be honest, I have never watched or paid for a movie through YouTube.
Nor have I, actually. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was it?
What was that turn out?
How was the experience?
It was fine. Like it literally had no issues playing or anything like that. I have like several videos from on my Android device, which is also my webcam right now. that play through YouTube, and it runs perfectly fine. Like, I have no issues with playback or anything like that. The experience was actually pretty good.
Interesting. Okay, well, we got one last article. Here, Google found a way to stop phone creepers. And this is, let's see how short. Okay, cool. This is actually super short. Once again, okay, first of all, Fox News, if you ever see this, we're sorry for referencing so many of your articles. You have some great articles, though. We really kind of like your writing, so you're getting a lot of PR off of our show, and I hope you're grateful.
Fox News should sponsor us.
They really, yeah, Fox News really should, honestly.
Hey, Grid, your job for the next month, and I'm giving you a month here, is to somehow contact Fox News and see if they'll sponsor our show.
Oh gosh, that'd be pretty cool. Okay, so again, foxnews.com, in their text section, let's see, I'm going to see if I can actually skim through this, and the article reads as the following. Have you ever sat on the bus texting your BFF about your plans when you notice a person sitting next to you with their eyes glued to the display? Okay, I've kind of sometimes done phone peeking. I've seen that a couple times. I've kind of done phone peeking a couple times, yeah. Yeah, I think we all are at one point in time. A new research project from Google may have that thing of the past, or at least shame those who take part. Google researchers He Jun Rai and Florian Skaroff, I think that's how you say his name, have developed a project dubbed Electronic Screen Protector. Wait a minute, hold on a sec. Hold on, let's back up for a second.
ESP!
ESP. Hey.
I don't know. I think I just missed a joke here.
ESP. Okay. All right. Google ESP. And of course it looks for ESPN.
I think I missed a joke.
Oh. Extrasensory perception.
Ah.
The Sixth Sense.
That's funny. That's actually, that's weird and funny at the same time. But they're calling it electronic screen protector. What? You know, okay, you know what? I could actually skip this entire article and just say, get a privacy screen for your phone. Problem solved.
Exactly.
Problem solved. Not joking. Okay, come on. No, I'm actually going to just read the article because I actually do want to know. Okay. So, electronic screen protector, in which they use Google Pixel's front-facing camera and artificial intelligence to detect the eyes to tell once more than one person is actively looking at the display. Quartz first spotted the video demonstrate on Rai's YouTube account, which is public but unlisted. Let's see. Okay. The demo shows someone sneaking up on an unsuspecting phone user to see what they were doing. Why would you do that? That's creepy. But the phone then detects a second face and alerts the user that someone is using the phone. Or actually, let's just say seeing the phone. The whole thing looks pretty rudimentary, but it's still in research phase. Rai and I'm going to pronounce this guy's name wrong. Will present their findings on the Neural Information Processing System conference in Long Beach, California next week. According to Quartz, the whole algorithm is run on the phone and can detect face in many lighting conditions in just 2 milliseconds. That's pretty cool. That's fast processing. We don't know if this feature will make it a mass market as part of an Android or Pixel lineup. I'm personally curious to, the person that wrote this, sorry, said he's personally curious to see if there are ways for it to tell if you're actively sharing a phone with someone, say, watching a video together, and not for it to trigger the alert. Interesting technology. Now,
and here is a link to an image of how I believe it works.
All right, we're gonna head and pop this open here. Really? I love that. That image is great. Thank you. I feel bad for SoundCloud users who have no idea what we're looking at. It's a picture of two people, and it has a square around the second person's face. It says stranger looking alert, and it has a big rainbow line coming out of the second stranger's mouth. I don't know if that's supposed to be a meme or what that's supposed to be, but that's interesting.
That's actually what was demonstrated in the video. I just watched the video.
Oh, all right. You have the actual video on up there.
Where is the video? I don't see the video on this website. Link us the video.
It's right there in the article.
You know what? It's probably because we have ad block going on here.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yes, we at the Morning Metro love to use ad block.
Because frankly, there are too many ads. I'm trying to find.
And the video's still not there. Interesting.
All right, we will pretend that there is a video here, and ooh, this is very interesting. No joking.
Hey, there it is. I turn off my ad blocks, and I have a video and
link me
the video URL. I will link you to the. There it is.
All right.
And one moment. There you go. There's the YouTube video.
All right, go ahead and. This is coming from. I want to make sure coming from YouTube from. If I can see his. Wow, I love how there's. He John Rai. This is from their channel. And they're trying to just. There's no sound, which is kind of cool, but they're showing what it looks like if someone were to peek over your phone. Huh, interesting. There's no sound. I find that actually kind of weird and interesting. Screen demo. So for SoundCloud users, it's showing again this image I described earlier as someone is typing and stuff, and the stranger's still looking at the phone. Let's see if there's actually a point where they where it actually like alerts you if it's actually working or not. Is there actually an alert that shows you what this looks like at all? No?
So from what I've got on the YouTube from this video is that this isn't just a test for the system, but I would imagine there would be like a notification pops up saying, hey, someone's looking over your shoulder, or like it vibrates or something like that. I can see that happening, but it just taking over your phone and saying, oh, stranger danger.
You know what they could do when he was talking about detecting whether or not there's somebody, like whether like when he was saying about like sharing the screen. Here's what the notification could look like. Notification pops up, says, hey, there's somebody looking over your shoulder on your phone. Is this are you okay with this or not? You can hit yes or no, and if you hit no, then that means that the phone would know, okay, they're probably sharing the screen with a friend. And if you hit yes, and then the screen could, like, I don't know, black or darken or something like that or whatever. Now, the reason why I think this is more innovative than a privacy screen is the problem is privacy screens dramatically affect viewing angles. They can actually distort an image. I kind of like this idea of using detection better than a privacy screen, because then I'm not losing the quality and brightness of my screen. Plus, viewing, because a lot of people, they'll view their phone from like the side or whatever and stuff, and privacy screens can like distort that imagery pretty.
Take a selfie.
Yeah, pretty badly. Yeah, take a selfie and you can't see what you're because of privacy screen. Yeah. So no, guys, thoughts if you got any. If not, that's okay.
I think this is a pretty cool idea. Like, it honestly is interesting. Like, again, going back to our first article, face recognition technology is really improving our mobile security, our general security, and other things like that. So
I love how this just came full circle. Thank you. Yeah. So I mean, that is pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. That that's a possibility, and I really hope that it really proves out really well and stuff for as a whole and everything. That they come up with something that works and always works and doesn't glitch or whatever and stuff. So Gertrude, any other thoughts on this article or anything in general before we end?
Well, I honestly hope that if they do something like that, I do agree with Cappy. There needs to be some sort of button that you can push saying, hey, no, it's fine. I'm actually sharing the screen with somebody right now. I don't want you to block it.
Right.
Versus, which is going to pop up every time, because then you're going to be like, I really want to share this with you, but my phone won't let me.
I've had those moments, yeah. I actually have. Oh,
or
man.
you end up saying, well, the only way you can watch this is for me to actually hand you my phone, which I don't want to hand you my phone because, you know, I may trust you, but I don't trust you that much.
Right. Yeah, I'm very careful who I let handle my phone, definitely. So, yeah, cool. Definitely a very packed show. This is probably like the longest episode we've ever done because of the net neutrality stuff from earlier and everything. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching as we wind down the show here. For those of you that are sitting on my Twitch page, please check out all the panels below my stream, including Grid 21 merch, as I always say. For those of you on YouTube, if you have any comments at any point during this video, please drop them. We will actually go back and read some of the comments on the Morning Metro. To SoundCloud users, thank you for listening as well. We appreciate you too. And Cappy, thank you for joining us on the show today. It was fun having somebody's a different thought on the show and stuff because we don't have guests that often. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're most certainly welcome.
And you're welcome to come back again if you like. So with that, we are going to end. Again, thank you guys so much and have an awesome, well, by the time you watch this, it'll be on Monday. So have an awesome Monday. For those of you that are on Twitch here, have an awesome Saturday. Until then, we will catch you guys later.
I have a shameless plug here, though.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I do.
Okay, I will allow
to mention.
Okay, I will allow
Tomorrow I'm starting my first streaming season of Oh no, tomorrow's Monday. And it's supposed to be a funny, relaxing, getting your stresses down a little bit because everybody hates Mondays.
I'm interested to see what the first episode will be like, actually.
I'm interested too because I have no idea what to expect. And I do understand it will most likely just be me there going crazy, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, I enjoy Mondays, so.
All right, so for those of you that are interested, I'm going to actually go ahead and plug my co-host because he is my co-host and he deserves that much appreciation for that. If you guys want to go check out Gertron's show, you can go to twitch.tv/Gertron. Give him a follow, tell him I sent you, and I hope your first episode goes well tomorrow, Gertron. I'll try to be there and chat and support you and stuff, see how this all goes and everything. So, but there you go. There's a plug, and for those of you on SoundCloud and YouTube, there you go. So now we'll go ahead. And, wait. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to end. I know I'm trying to wind this episode down. Cappy, do you still stream? Should I plug you too?
Yeah. My Twitch username is twitch.tv/TheTrueCappyMan.
Who occasionally does streams of gameplay and gameplay that I don't put, games that he plays I normally would not play. But if you would like to go check him out, give him a follow too. We're all Twitch streamers on the Morning Metro, so we might as well just plug it all together since we're all friends and stuff. It's all pretty much okay.
Unfortunately, right now I am taking hiatus because my other job is currently, well, Christmas season working retail.
Oh man. That's rough. So
good luck.
All right, guys. Thank you. I may do a morning stream later this afternoon. We'll see how time falls because I have to do some cleaning. But if it allows, we might do a TMM Let's Play on the Minecraft server. So how that goes.
Would be awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for chatting, hanging out. Again, check out all the panels. Email us if you want to at themorningmetro@gmail.com. We would love to have an article submission. If you guys have any comments, please drop them in the comment section below. And until then, we'll catch you guys later. Okay, bye.